As a California resident, I believe that it would be the best thing to bring back the death penalty, despite the fact that California is one of the most liberal states out of all 50. Now, the reason I believe it should be brought back is because what is the actual difference between life without parole and the death penalty? Now, life without parole means that you are in jail basically until your death. Now, the death penalty is just a more sped up process of that. So, really, which one is more torture? Being inside of a cell from the age of 18 to the day you die, or being put to death through lethal injection? Now, despite that the death penalty is extremely harsh, it was actually banned in the year 2006. California was not the only state to ban. There are 23 other states that have banned the death penalty because it is unethical and inhumane. I'm going to discuss why it would be beneficial to bring it back to California specifically. So, 227 youth were sentenced to die because they committed crimes when they were teens and then later processed as adults. This was just in the year 2006 when they banned the death penalty. So, those 227 youth could still be currently living out their life sentences, life without parole, from acts they committed when they were a teenager. Doesn't that seem a little harsh, punishing them throughout time until they die? Currently, there are probably around 2,400 adults who are on life without parole as of today's date that are in there for crimes they committed as teenagers. Now, wouldn't it be more beneficial to put them to death in as humane as it may sound and harsh as it may sound as I say it? Would it benefit California more? What I mean by that is that it, throughout the years since the ban of the death penalty, prisons have been overpopulated to where people were sleeping in the gymnasium, the halls, everything was overcrowded to the point where California had to build more and more prisons. It actually got to the point where they built more prisons than they did actual universities. Now, universities are are common for education and are a great way to experience. Wouldn't you want to put education over criminals? Now, despite the fact that prisons are built more than universities, there's also a $12.7 billion state corrections fee that Gavin Newsom passed in 2019-2020. That is a massive budget for creating more prisons and correcting and making sure that they maintain all the healthy standards. Now, as those 2,400 adults that are on life without parole, that is a majority of cells. If you estimate around two, divide 2,400, that's 1,200 cells. Now, you may not, that seems like a lot, and it is a lot, which is why prisons are being that's why prisons are being built more and more. So, would it be beneficial to start putting people on life without parole and bring back the death penalty and use lethal injection? Well, if you do that, we'll save money on the taxes that California takes. As I stated, the budget is $12.7 billion. Now, what if we use that $12.7 billion to something different? As California works on the high-speed railroad, imagine you go all the way across from one side of California to the bottom, top to bottom, in a span of a day. Think of the opportunities that increase from just that one scenario, just that one little thing. Job opportunities open up, connections open up. So many doors are wide open just from building the high speed railroad. Now, as much as time as that would take, think of the roads. How many times are you driving and then you're not focusing and then you just boom, you hit a pothole? Now, potholes are extremely common, especially in Fresno, where we live. Think of driving and no potholes. it's great. It's just a smooth road, less car problems, and less money you have to pay for. And now, as you and the it depends on the areas where you go. There is trash all around. All right. Now, we could use that money to clean up California itself. Specific areas, such as downtown Fresno, have become overwhelmed with trash. Another area that is common with trash is highways. Now, if you go down Highway 41, north or south, you'll see a bunch of trash on the side of the road in the emergency lane or in the center lane, depending where you are. Sometimes you even find trash in the road. Now, as much as people think that the death penalty is extremely harsh, which it is, and it may seem inhumane, which is why it was banned in 2006 because people deemed it unconstitutional. So, as much, despite the fact that it is inhumane, if we do decide to bring back the death penalty, it will cause an uproar. The reason it will cause an uproar is because, as I stated, California is a very extremely liberal state. Now, the the liberal uproar will be, you know, talking about justice and everything. But as eventually as time goes on, it'll settle down and then time will aggressively pass and it'll become more beneficial in the future. So, with bringing back the death penalty, the first maybe 5 to 10 years will be extremely rough because people will still be talking about it. But in the long run, it could be beneficial. So when we're about, and I am 19, and about the future, maybe about when I'm 30 or 40, I do, it could be more beneficial to see a better, cleaner state, being able to transport all the way across California in a span of a couple hours from the high-speed railroad. So, in conclusion, the death penalty is inhumane and harsh, but is it really different than life without parole? In my opinion, life without parole is just as harsh because people who have committed crimes in their teens are still being punished to today and are carried on until the end of the life. So, as much as inhumane and harmful and unconstitutional that the death penalty may be, I really do not see a difference. And I do believe that if we bring back the death penalty, that it'll be more beneficial for the state of California in due time.